She genuinely does not understand how quotes work. Like, if you're not repeating the exact words, word for word, that's not a quote. That's not even an interpretation. That's a flat-out fabrication. But here we are, Tiffany tossing out made-up lines and calling them facts. And while we're on the topic of things not working, can we talk about her wig at that board meeting? Because, listen, I didn't want to say anything, but it was distracting. I kept rewatching the footage, trying to figure out what was off. And then it hit me. The wig was retreating. Not sliding, not shifting. Retreating, like it was trying to escape her forehead. It was so far back it looked like it had been drafted into battle. Every replay. I couldn't even hear what she was saying. I was locked in on that hairline. It was like the wig packed up and said, "I'm out." Honestly, we might as well title this whole saga The Dictator and the Disappearing Edges. The worst part? I was enjoying it way too much. It felt like Instagram-lived chaos hiding inside a polished video. But let's focus on the actual train wreck, the board meeting. A community speaker got up and said if anyone needed help, they could reach out to him or call Keith Freeman, who's apparently on call 24/7 like some government hotline. Then Tiffany jumped in, tried to make a moral argument. Employees shouldn't go unpaid just because trustees didn't get documents on time. And then she drops this bizarre line, "You must pay to stop." Excuse me? Is that a riddle? A prophecy? Nobody knew what it meant. Her point was basically that workers did their jobs, put in hours, and shouldn't be caught in the crossfire between her and the trustees. Fine if that's how she feels. But then she tried to drop the mic. Like boom, conversation over. No room for questions, no space for pushback. Just vibes and declarations. But not everyone was buying it. One trustee jumped in hot, reminding the room that the board already passed ordinances requiring all hiring and firing decisions to go through them. Clearly, that protocol wasn't being followed. They pointed out how staff and trustees are getting paperwork on weekends, with zero notice, which is not how government is supposed to run. They weren't being unreasonable. They were asking for structure and accountability. Business should happen Monday to Friday, during office hours, not over Sunday brunch. One trustee even said they had to chase Keith Freeman down on a Sunday just to get documents they should have had days earlier. That's not just inconvenient. It's unprofessional. And then came the moment I couldn't ignore. Did y'all clock the man sitting next to Tiffany? The way he kept looking at her? Phew, that was crush mode in 4K. He was giving her the kind of dreamy stares you see in middle school when somebody writes, "Do you like me?" Circle yes or no. It was full-on notice me, senpai energy. I don't know if he's married and I don't care, but he was looking like one compliment away from sliding in her DMs mid-meeting. Anyway, back to business. Another trustee made it clear, this isn't about punishing employees. It's about building a system that works. Their job is to make informed decisions and protect taxpayer money. And if things keep rolling without proper oversight, the whole village will pay the price. They warned how dangerous it would be to keep approving hires, contracts, and payments without reviewing the facts. Because when the budget collapses, it's the board that takes the blame. That's not being difficult. That's being responsible. Another trustee doubled down, echoing the same point. They said all this chaos wouldn't exist if deadlines were respected and procedures were followed. They gave props to staff who go above and beyond, working weekends, picking up slack, but stress that's not sustainable. Government isn't supposed to run on overtime hustle. It's supposed to run on infrastructure, planning, and weekday operations. And honestly, that's not asking for much. But of course, Tiffany couldn't let that slide. She jumped back in, trying to spin it. She said trustees could have just called her or the administrator on Friday. She bragged about being available 24/7, phone always on, constantly in touch with Keith Freeman. Like, girl, that's not the flex you think it is. Just because you're texting this man at 11 p.m. doesn't mean the village is being run properly. And I'm sitting here thinking, does Kamal know about this around-the-clock connection? Because phew, that tea is steaming. For someone who preaches ethics and transparency, Tiffany sure does spend a suspicious amount of time tied up with this man. I'm not saying she can't have friends, but let's not pretend Kamal's the only one with drama. Because here's the truth. Tiffany is the side chick, Yep, I said it. She's aside. And the wildest part? She might not even know it. Or maybe she does, and she doesn't care. She even went on the radio claiming Kamal's been trying to get divorced for 4 years. 4 whole years. Sis, if a man says he's been trying to leave his wife for 4 years and still hasn't done it, that's not romance. That's comedy. If you've been trying to do anything for 4 years and failed, it's because you don't actually want it. That's not a goal. That's a running joke. Poor little Tink Tink. She just cannot catch a win. And why she chooses to stay wrapped up in that mess, I'll never understand. She could stand on her own and make real change. But instead, she's attaching herself to a man who couldn't lead a GPS to the nearest exit. She's acting like she hit the jackpot, when in reality, she is the jackpot. He's not chasing love. He's chasing the bag. And she is the bag. Tragic. Now, let's get into her latest rant. She went off claiming the trustees don't do enough. They don't attend committee meetings. They don't ask questions. They don't check the village platform. She kept screaming, "It's all on the app," like that explained everything. Ma'am, if the app fixed anything, we wouldn't still be here. Then she pulls her usual stunt. Just reach out if you need help. And she hands out her personal number, like she's running a help desk from her couch. But let's be real, she's not giving solutions. She's stalling, spinning, and distracting. The village doesn't need a late-night tech support line. It needs real leadership. Then she pivoted straight into the land bank mess, acting like trustees voted for things they didn't even understand. She whips out this random sheet of paper, claims it's a gospel on the Buy Black housing program, the one with free homes and $5,000 deals. Says she's going to share it with everyone. Surprise! She never does. She just waves it like a mystical scroll, tucks it away, and demands respect like a crown. Classic move. She keeps preaching transparency, but no one ever actually sees the paperwork. Ask a question, and it's suddenly, "I'm the mayor. Respect my authority." Straight up dictator energy. She even accused the board of misquoting someone during a vote. Claimed the woman they referenced never said the quoted line. Instead of clearing it up, she used the confusion to prop up her own housing plan. Her transparency? Take my word for it. No data. No receipts. Just vibes. That's not how public money works. Now let's talk dollars, because the fine print here is wild. For the $1 homes, investors must prove $20,000 in funds, be licensed and bonded in Dolton, pull a 90-day permit, and pass village inspections. Fail, and the village keeps the $1,000 escrow. Then the profits split 75% to the investor, 25% to the village. Sound fair, until you remember who's pulling the strings. That's where the problem starts. Remember when she bragged about hiring a private inspector who saved her from buying a busted place? Cute anecdote. Until you remember she once owned a rental with black mold, rats, and a sewage backup. A mother and kids live there. Her friend called it safe. But now when she's a buyer, all inspections, please. Double standards much? When it benefits Tiffany, inspections matter. When it benefits tenants, suddenly it's fine. That's the double standard for me. Now she's telling people to hire private inspectors instead of trusting village ones, after using her own people to greenlight dangerous properties. She frames it as a village moneymaker, but honestly, it's starting to read like a personal ATM. The incentives are twisted when you control permits, inspections, and timelines. Who wins when that system is rigged? Not the residents. Not the renters. Probably not the investors who actually try to play by the rules. And the $5,000 houses? Equally suspect. Buyers must live there 5 years, finish repairs in 90 days, and pass 2 inspections. But if Tiffany's the one approving permits, and she's famous for stalling, how on earth are you supposed to hit that 90-day mark? It's a trap. Delay you. Then seize a property for missing a deadline you couldn't possibly meet. Then act like it was all by the book. Spoiler. It probably was. Everything here, wig theatrics, housing schemes, midnight texts, boils down control. Elect a dictator, and everything orbits them. She wants full credit when things pop, and zero blame when projects flop. Every headline, every dollar, every initiative, stamp her name on it. even if she didn't do the work. That's the pattern. That's the play. That's the reason folks get burned. And let's be honest about the visuals, because visuals sell. That hairline? Baby, it's so far back it needs a boarding pass. It's giving front row seat to your thoughts. Vote in the comments. Are y'all here for the no forehead left behind movement? Or should she bring it down Eddie Winslow style? Right above the brows? If you catch that reference, drop it below so I know your family. Anyway, y'all behave because I am absolutely not. But remember this, Mama loves you. Yes, she does. Peace.